Vigilant Citizen. My name is Josh. Thanks for joining again today. It is a brisk, chilly October evening, so my drink of choice today is tea, Earl Grey, hot. That should keep I woke up with a sore throat too, so it should soothe some of that. I'm feeling better now, but I never was a tea drinker, but I don't know, something about Earl Grey. It's pretty good. I'm enjoying it. At least it's not a fluffy drink. All right, thanks again for joining. I wanted to give all of you some advice on how to get promoted at your job. Speaking as somebody who has given promotions before and who has direct reports, people who report directly to me, whom I manage on a daily basis and have been for a little while now. I'm not just making these up as though it's my only experience of having been promoted in the past, but this is also the other side of what do I look for in a direct report who's working for me. And to be clear, working for the organization, right? Because that's the way I see it. When you have people reporting to you, you are an extension of the organization. You are the face of the organization for those people, and your job is to guide them and direct them into being productive on behalf of the organization. So these are based on my personal experience. I think my industry is, I've only worked in one industry for the majority of my career, but I think all of these tips that I'm going to give you today are easily transferred or easily applied to every single industry out there. It might look differently how you do it, but the general concepts would be the same across the board, wherever you work, whether you're at a lumber mill or you're a desk jockey working, doing data entry, or you're in the retail business and you're trying to sell footballs at a sporting goods store or anything like that. Or if you're an air traffic controller, boy, I don't know anything about that job. That sounds difficult, but I think these concepts will apply there as well. So without any further ado, I bid you adieu. I'm a little tired today too, so I'm struggling with words and just staying conscious enough to speak. So bear with me here. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into them. And if I decide that it works well, you guys will already know about this, but I might put them right up here if they look well enough, if you can read them as I go through. So, okay, number one, first tip on getting promoted: do your job without complaint. So you have a job there, you've been hired to do it, right? And this is on top of just already doing your job well. You might have to learn how to do your job and become competent at it. That's okay. That's not what this is talking about. The job that you've been hired to do is for a very specific set of things to do. So make sure you're doing just the bare minimum there without complaint. Don't question it as much. If there's a real problem, tell your boss, have a conversation with them. Or if you see ways to do it better, that's fine. Talk about that. But don't be complaining about what you've been hired to do. That's what you're doing. So just do it. And I ran these past my wife just a moment ago just to get a sense of if she felt that these were good tips. She added to this one that be a pleasant person as well. From her noise ordinance. From her perspective, she couldn't believe how far she's gotten just by being a pleasant person and being easy to work with, right? And that does go a long way. There's all these people who are always like saying things that, well, I don't care about the politics of the situation, I'm just going to tell the truth. Well, if the truth is on a stick and on a baseball bat and you pepper it with spikes and you hit somebody over the head with it, they're probably not going to want to hear that particular truth. So be pleasant and be likable in some sense. Don't be a doormat. Don't let people walk all over you, but do your job without complaint and be easy to work with. Okay, number two, I think this is a big one. Ask your boss what you can do for them. Regardless of how you feel about your boss, who you're working for, or what you're doing for them, you have to have a good you have to have a good relationship with them. And one of the ways you can do that, this isn't sucking up, this isn't kissing up to them and just doing whatever they want, but this is legitimately trying to find ways to help them. What can I do for you? How can I make your job easier? That's been one of my main philosophies in my career. is this isn't kissing up, again, not sucking up, but how do I make my boss look good? And if I'm making them look good, I'm doing a good job on behalf of the organization as well, right? That's presuming that they're doing what's best for the company. And even if they're not, and you don't think that they are, that doesn't matter. You still have to have a good relationship with them. The other people, hopefully you're in a healthy enough environment that the other people will see that, hey, you're working closely with them and you're doing what they need, because you're trying to make the organization better. So, yeah, some of these you might need to take with a grain of salt if you're in a very toxic environment, in which case my advice for you would be to find another job, right? But ask your boss what you can do for them. Help them on a daily basis. Be proactive in asking them. Don't wait for them. It can be tough from their perspective to constantly have to delegate things out. I think they saw a squirrel. So proactively go and ask them how you can help them and make their lives easier. Okay, number 3, I think this is another big one. Willingly take on more responsibility. One thing that I really dislike hearing as somebody who has people reporting to him is when somebody says, that's not my job, right? Earlier I said you have a certain job, do it, but you have a certain set of tasks that are probably required for your job, but there's nothing saying that you can't take on more responsibility. And what I mean by that is if your boss has need of something, or your team has need of something that needs to be done and there's a gap there and nobody's stepping up to fill it, you be that person. And just offer to do it, or sometimes, if it's appropriate, just take it and just do it. Just run with it. That's the way to get noticed, is that you take the jobs that nobody else wants and you do them well, right? So don't just ignore when you have an opportunity to take on more responsibility on behalf of your team or the organization. Really consider if you have enough time and capacity or the ability to do it. And if you do it. Do it. Don't even ask. Don't even think about it. Just do it. You're there to help the organization, and the more that you're doing to help that organization by taking on additional responsibility. Again, don't go the flip side. Don't go too far. Don't take up a million things and then you can't, don't commit to a million things and then that you can't finish. You don't want to do that either. You don't want to become known as the person who can't get anything done because you say yes to everything. So be careful. But willingly taking on more responsibility will get you noticed, and your the people above you in the hierarchy will love you for it. So, okay, number 4, actively help others succeed. So others in the organization who may need your help, go out of your way to help them. If they're on your team, doesn't matter if they're there or if they're on another team, just in a different department or whatever. This is another way to help get you noticed. The people higher up in that food chain, in that hierarchy. I shouldn't call it a food chain. You're not going to get eaten by them, presumably. But they will notice if you're mentoring somebody else or if you're going out of your way to help somebody else do something and be at their best, because that's commitment to making the organization even better. So help those who are around you, help other managers, help other people, help those who are below you, right? If they're a lower level, but not just them. If you have a senior lead on your team of some sort, ask them what you can do for them, just like you would for your boss, right? So be a team player, I guess, is kind of what this one boils down to. But that extends beyond just your immediate team to the entire organization. Okay, and the 5th and final point I have, I could write hundreds of these, but I distilled it just down to 5, right? Because I don't want to be here for 12 hours, and I don't think you do either. So the last one that I have for you is to proactively solve problems. This kind of falls in line with number 3, taking on more responsibility. But if you see a problem that needs to be fixed and nobody else is handling it, step up, step in there, fix it, get it working, right? And make sure that you're making the organization's processes and their operations run smoothly without even being asked, right? Again, this kind of goes back to, hey, that's not my job. Don't do that. Don't ever do that. If your boss ever asks you to do something, especially in front of other people. Don't say, hey, that's not my job. Pull them aside later and say, hey, should I really be spending my time here? That's a fair question. That's a totally fair question. Or is there something I can do that's better for my skills? But don't let that get in the way of you solving a problem that's beneath you, or helping somebody else who's beneath you, or anything like that. I think if I were to see an overarching theme here, and bring it down to just one simple piece of advice, it's take initiative, step up, do things proactively on behalf of the company that will better the company and better your organization without you being asked to. So maybe I'll put that as like a final line down here or something. I love it when I'm doing this here, because I'm trying to imagine it, and you know, all of you see the final product and you're either laughing because there's nothing there, or you're laughing because I'm acting like there may be nothing there. So anyway, I'll just run through those really quick again. Do your job without complaint. Ask your boss what you can do for them. Willingly take on more responsibility. Actively help others in the organization succeed, and proactively solve problems. The underlying theme being take initiative. All right, well, that's what I have for you today. I'll end it with that. No need to ramble on any longer than I already have. Thanks for your time. Thanks for listening. Let me know what you think of this list, or if you have additional tips or advice for people, you can toss them in the comments, or you can send me an email. I can always share that with the larger audience. Other than that, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.